Hello my wolf pack and welcome to the PBAL Week 6 Team Builder. Now, this week we are battling Hydroxide Ant and I think it's the Fort Wayne Durance, but I could be wrong in my thought process of that. If I am, obviously the title will say the correct team. But yeah, we are battling Hydroxide Ant with a very scary team. Honestly, I'm terrified. This thing is just, it's so bulky, honestly. This team is scary. We got Regieleki, which obviously really fast, powerful. Obviously this thing isn't bulky, but really fast, kind of full of energy. But he does really only have electric type attacks, so things like Thunderous and Mudsdale can deal with this thing quite easily. So I'm not as concerned, but it is fast, especially if it comes in late game after they've gone down. Flygon, you know, Flygon's a problem. Flygon's always a problem. I have got Cryogonal with a Choice Scarf that does deal with Flygon quite nicely. But if it gets more than one Dragon Dance up, I am put in a pretty difficult situation, if I'm honest. We've got Mimikyu, which Mimikyu is always scary to go up against. I never know how to deal with it properly. So I really struggle with Mimikyu all the time. Darmanitan, we saw from my last season in the LDL how much work Darmanitan can put in. If it's Choice Scarfed, it causes problems. If it's Choice Banded, it causes problems. If it comes, it causes problems. So yeah, things like Venusaur do not appreciate it, neither does Cryogonal. And we outspeed it with our Scarf, so worst case scenario, you know, we can freeze dry it. Yeah. Rotom Wash, which is actually really scary. Mudsdale, it obviously doesn't deal with it as amazingly. Thunderous can kind of deal with it, but again, not amazingly. Cryogonal is probably my best bet. Same with Venusaur, actually. They both deal with it relatively okay, but the rest of my team struggles a little bit. Him on top, obviously Intimidate. I'm not really running a very physical team. Blaziken and Mudsdale are my only physical mons, so, you know, Intimidate is a problem for them, but other than that, it should be fine. Fighting type weakness, obviously Cryogonal. But other than that, I should be okay with Hitmontop. Roselia, sorry, I've got an itchy nose. I don't know why. Roselia, I'm not too concerned about. I think I've got the coverage for that. Only Mudsdale, but I don't see it coming anyways. Celesteela is a big problem. Obviously, I've got Fundy and I've got Blaziken, which do deal with it very well. But the rest of my team really doesn't, and it gets enough coverage to be able to hit Venusaur really hard. Dragapult can kind of deal with it. And Mudsdale, I've put Smackdown on there to specifically deal with it. Regirock just bulky. I don't like it because it's bulky. Yeah, he's just such a bulky one. I hate it. I've got the Toxic for that. I've got Mudsdale, which kind of can deal with it, and Venusaur, which can do some things with it, and even like Dragapult can kind of do something. Blaziken, you know, can actually help with that one as well. Glastria, we've got Blaziken, and we have got nothing else. Yeah, we've got a problem with Glastria, I'm going to be honest, but we're faster. So, like, Thunderous, obviously, we'll be able to do a lot of damage to it with, like, a Thunderbolt. Cryogonal, I've got Flash Cannon on Cryogonal, so it can do a lot of damage to it. Dragapult will just be able to hit it really hard, so actually, I'm not super concerned. Smackdown on Mudsdale will damage it. So, yeah, that's actually not as bad as I thought it was initially. My team, let's go through my team. We have got Mudsdale, which is obviously a fantastic Pokemon. It's worked really, really well for me this season. Earthquake, Smackdown, Stealth Rock, Toxic. This is the best set I think I could run against this team. This is an amazing set to go against this team, because Smackdown, it hits the Flygon, it hits the Rotom Wash, it hits the Celesteela, it hits the Glastria, but the first three, it gets rid of their immunity to ground type moves. And then I can Earthquake. Flygon is probably frail enough to be damaged by an Earthquake. Rotom Wash is super effective, but obviously I do have to be concerned because the Hydro Pump is going to hurt. We've got Celesteela as well. The Earthquake will be super effective, obviously boosted by Stab and everything, so that's really, really nice. Stealth Rocks, because, you know, setting up rocks can be really, really helpful, and it can cause problems for the opposing team, especially for things like Darmanitan, because that doesn't want to come in on rocks, honestly. Celesteela still takes a little bit of damage. Glastria will take a lot of damage, so quite good options we've got there. Toxic is a really good option when it comes to things like the Regirock, because Regirock is just really annoying to deal with, honestly. Even the Glastria, getting a Toxic off on that could be huge, because then it allows me, it's limited on its turns. So yeah, hopefully we'll see a few things work with this Mudsdale. We're defensive because living hits is going to be important for that Smackdown and then Earthquake combination, but other than that, I think we're looking really good, and I'm really happy with how Mudsdale's looking on this team. Second up, we've got Choice Scarf Cryogonal with some interesting choices of moves. We've got, obviously, Choice Scarf, we're outspeeding the Flygon. Freeze Dry hits the Regieleki quite hard. The Flygon really hard. The Mimikyu okay, but I've got Flash Cannon as well for that. Darmanitan, it doesn't really hit at all. Rotom Wash, we Freeze Dry. Hitmontop, we don't really deal with unless we absolutely have to, and then it's probably a Blizzard or a Freeze Dry. Roselia's Freeze Dry. Celesteela, probably Blizzard or Freeze Dry. Unfortunately, it is neutral, but, you know, Celesteela is very scary. Regirock, we try not to stand against, but Flash Cannon is probably the best I've got. And then Glastria, again, we've got Flash Cannon if we need to use that. So we have got some moves that can work here. Rapid Spin, in case he wants to try and hazard stack with like Roselia. I think the Rapid Spin could be really helpful. Obviously, ground type attacks from like the Regirock, probably. And even, not the Darmanitan, but like the Flygon as well, are definitely going to be got rid of because of Levitate. So that's something that I've really thought about. And I think Cryogonal, Choice Scarfing was the best option this week. I think realistically it will come in and it will click Freeze Dry until it faints. That's kind of my plan with it, and honestly that's probably how it's going to die. Moving on, we have got Thundurus. Thundurus I absolutely love. Honestly, I drafted this thing on a whim, but Thundurus, you know, Regieleki, this thing can sit against Regieleki all day. Volt Absorb it, yeah, it can't do too much. Even Explosion, but I think we should live that. Flygon is a problem, but also not a problem because Earthquake doesn't hit us unless he's got Smackdown as well. But, you know, Focus Blast is the only thing we've got to hit this thing, so yeah, it's not amazing, but it's what I can do. Mimikyu is, again, a pain in the backside. I've got Thunderbolt, which hits it really hard, and hopefully we'll get rid of like the Decoy? Is it Decoy? Disguise. That's Disguise. It's Disguise. Darmanitan, if it's Choice Scarfed, is going to be a problem because I think it can one-hit KO me, especially with a Rock-type attack. If it's Choice Banded, I reckon we'll be able to take it out with a Thunderbolt, so that shouldn't be too bad. Rotom Wash, you know, is a bit of a problem. It can Hydro Pump me, which is quite scary, but Thunderbolt, definitely going to hit it quite hard. Hitmontop, I'm not too worried about, honestly. Roselia, again, not worried about. Celesteela, Thunderbolt should hopefully deal with that after a nasty plot maybe. We should hopefully live a hit. Obviously Smackdown is a big problem. We've got Regirock, which Focus Blast is there for, and also Glastria, which Focus Blast again is there for because it does a lot of damage to it. If I get a nasty plot up with this thing and the Regieleki is down and nothing scarfed, Thundurus has complete free reign. And even if the Regieleki isn't down, Thundurus still has pretty free reign. So Thundurus with a nasty plot can just blitz this team, honestly. I did have to go for the max special attack and the max speed. That is to allow me to outspeed Flygon that's not scarfed. And, you know, outspeeding the Flygon that's not scarfed could definitely put me in a position where I'm not taking as much damage, obviously, and that will cause some benefits for me, because I will be alive. So, yeah, that's Thundurus. Venusaur is up next. Now, I thought Venusaur worked quite well with this. You've got, like, the Regirock, honestly, like, Venusaur can sit against that and kind of deal with it better. Rotom Wash, we can deal with that quite well. Mimikyu, yeah, I think we can deal with that relatively okay. Flygon, yeah, kind of. Regieleki, yes, we can deal with that. Hitmontop, we can deal with that as well. Roselia, in a 1v1, Venusaur always wins. And Celesteela is a big problem. I'm not going to lie. If I can get a Smackdown on Celesteela and then come in with Venusaur and Earth Power, I'm not in too much of a bad position. But obviously Air Slash is going to hit me like a truck. And then Glastria is just a big problem. I'm not going to lie. Glastria is such a huge problem. I could definitely go for like a Giga Drain on Glastria, and I don't know how much that does. Glastria is quite bulky, but at the same time, with the onslaught of all my mons, I don't think it would be able to survive too many hits. So, yeah, we've got that. EV investment here, I just decided to go for a bulky sweeper. That's just the design for this Venusaur. I've got Leech Seed just to get some chip damage on some different things, like I think the Celesteela can be seeded. The Flygon definitely getting that seeded. Mimikyu could work. Glastria, I definitely would like to have that seeded. Earth Power is there for the Darmanitan, because Darmanitan is a pain in the backside. So Earth Power on the predicted the switch in from Darmanitan, that is what I have gone for that. Next up, we've got Dragapult. Now, Dragapult does not outspeed Regieleki. It lost its fastest mon in the game. Actually, no, I think Zero Aura is 1 faster, maybe? I'm not sure. There's 1 speed stat in it, and I'm not sure who's actually faster. But Dragapult here, I have got Shiny. And we have gone for Shadow Ball, Dragon Pulse, Flamethrower, and Surf. With Choice Specs, I've gone Choiced in this week. And yeah, Flygon, if it's Scarfed, is a big problem. That's my big number 1. This could be a concern. Glastrier, if we get a Trick Room set up, and I don't really know what sets up Trick Room. Maybe Mimikyu can set up Trick Room. I need to double check it. But Trick Room options with Glastrier are obviously very scary. But I have got options. So Shadow Ball is just our strong stab, usable move, and it hits the majority of the team for neutral damage. Hits super effectively on Mimikyu, and Mimikyu can be a big problem, like a Play Rough after a Swords Dance. Even a Swords Dance Shadow Sneak is a big problem for me. Dragon Pulse, that hits the Flygon for super effective damage and should take it out in 1 hit. Flamethrower goes into the Roselia, Celesteela, and the Glastrier, all for super effective damage, which works really, really nice. And the Surf goes in super effective damage for the Regirock, and the Darmanitan as well. So I have coverage for the majority of this team. Rotom Wash is kind of because I do resist both of its stabs, and it can't really do too much on the other side, but at the same time, I can use my stabs, which aren't going to do as much, but they should still do quite a bit to it, and hopefully we can deal with that. Speed-wise, I've just gone to outspeed a normal Flygon that isn't Choice Scarfed. Choice Scarf Flygon is a concern, but at the same time, I think I have coverage for it, and I'm hoping that I'm going to be able to work with this team to really kind of win this match, because there's a lot of bulk here, but I think I have the right options to get rid of different things that are going to be problematic. Yeah. Moving on to our final one, we've got Blaziken. Blaziken's got a Life Orb here, and I also put Agility on it, because I thought Agility, if I can get Blaziken up to speed, then this thing can kind of sweep through, especially late game. So we've got Fire Punch on here. I decided to go Fire Punch over Flare Blitz because I want to live more attacks. Life Orb with that kind of combined, that can hit the Celesteela really hard. It can hit the Roselia, it hits the Glastrier really hard. It hits the Hitmontop hard. It hits the Mimikyu hard. It hits the Regieleki hard. Earthquake, obviously super effective on Regieleki. It's super effective on the Regirock as well. And super effective on Darmanitan. Close Combat, super effective on the Glastrier. That's a really good option there as well. But also hits the Regirock. It also hits the Flygon for a lot of damage. So yeah, that coverage there with an Agility possibly as an option is going to work really, really nicely. Obviously, Life Orb I do need to be very, very careful with because I will start to lose health quite quickly. But if I can get into that Blaze spot and just click Fire Punch, then not many things are going to be surviving. Yeah, this is going to be a tough match, but I think I possibly have it. I'm relatively confident. I'm hopeful that this is going to work. But yeah, that is going to be all. Actually, no, what do I expect to come? Regieleki, I'm not 100% sure on. Flygon, I definitely think is coming. I have a strong suspicion it's going to be Scarfed. Mimikyu, I definitely think is coming. Rotom Wash, I definitely think is coming. Darmanitan makes sense. Celesteela works, Regirock works, Glastrier works, and that's already 7. I don't really see the Hitmontop coming. I don't think it can deal with my team that amazingly. I think the rest of those 7, I think it's going to be 6 of those 7s that I named. Possibly Regieleki in there as well, but I don't know how likely that is. But yeah, I'm going to finish this off, so I hope you've enjoyed this. If you have, please do like, subscribe, and comment. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Anyways, I'm out of here, so have a good one, and I'll see you soon.